These are just a couple of our favorite Bible verses for the seniors that are here today. So this is Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Joshua 1:9. This is my command, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go.
Hi, as some of you may or may not know, I'm Olivia Miller, and I've been going to this church since I was born, and I've been both baptized and confirmed in this church. I know just about every nook and cranny of this place, thanks to Plain Sardines. I have so many wonderful memories with this church, it's hard to choose my favorite. I can remember sitting down every Wednesday in 6th grade for confirmation, and I still remember to this day my mentor, Tammy Davis, taught me how to say, I do not wish to articulate upon a subject in which is dubious to my mental capacity, which is just a fancy way of saying, I don't know. I was very fond of Vacation Bible School. It was something I looked forward to every year. Even after I aged out, I was eager to help. And I can still picture Elton getting a pie to his face. I remember eating a meal in the social hall, and we were complaining about our summer English project to someone we weren't really sure who we were talking to, because come to find out, we were complaining about our English project to Miss Anderson, our soon-to-be English teacher. I also joined Revelation my 6th grade year, which has been a major influence on me. I've come to this church almost every Sunday for rehearsal, and no matter how stressful or rough of a week I had, I knew I always had Revelation rehearsal and bells to go to. It was a time that I could drop my worries for an hour and just let the music take over. I also had the privilege of going to TCCC for 4 years. It was one of the best experiences of my life, and I got to meet so many amazing people and sing beautiful music. This church has been with me since since day one, and I cannot thank you enough. You have been loving and supporting every step of the way. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Peyton Miller. I've grown up in this church, and it's honestly become a second home to me. From the moment I was baptized till now, this church has always supported me. I can remember when I was 12, and the confirmation vans would come pick us up from school and drive us to church, where we would spend the rest of the day reading scripture, listening and telling stories, discussing with our mentors, and learning about God and his work. I can remember the deep conversations I had every week with my mentor, Ms. Carroll. She taught me so many wonderful lessons in life that I use still to this day. I started participating in church choir when I was young. I did children's choir until I eventually got too old and moved to graduated to Revelation. I came here every Sunday afternoon for rehearsal, and soon after started coming Wednesday to practice handbells. That choir room brings back so many memories. Memories of trumpet sounds to mark the ends of our games at Revelation retreats, and memories of beautiful songs sung to glorify our God. The hours I dedicated here will always have a special place in my heart. I also had the amazing privilege to go to our choir camp, TCCC, for 4 years. Those trips, largely funded by our congregation, fueled my love for singing and strengthened my love for worship, and I will cherish those forever. As some of you may know, I've struggled with a lot of health issues recently, which have resulted in me needing reconstructive leg surgery on both of my legs. And I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. But this church came through for me in ways I couldn't have even imagined. People came to visit me in the hospital, people sent thank you cards, many brought me over meals, even people who didn't really know me all that well. And Ann and Tammy always brought me my favorite, a Brahms milkshake, after every surgery. Even coming here and seeing all your smiling faces helped. I'll never forget the way that this church rallied around me and gave me that support in such a time. Also, as most of you have probably known, I've made some pretty wild hair choices. Blue, green, orange, red, pink, yellow, the entire rainbow basically. You name it, I've had it. And even through every weird color, whether it looked good or not, this church made sure to support my decisions. And now I'm going to do something crazier. I'm shaving my head. But I actually have a reason to shave it this time, not just for me being a wild teenager. I'm shaving it to support childhood cancer funding research. Actually, on May 27th, my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad! If you have any questions about it, feel free to talk to me anytime. I sometimes remember myself when I was a kid, and I remember myself as kind of a wild child who did, well, a lot of embarrassing things. Like when I almost caught Stan Warfield on fire when I was alkalining for the first time. But then I think about this church and the congregation and how you guys have watched me grow up, and through my best and my worst, and through all of it, this church has never stopped loving me. And now I go into this new chapter of my life, and I know I will never have to worry, because not only do I have God at my side, I have this church. Thank you.
Hi guys, mine is just a little bit longer than theirs, so bear with me. My name is Lauren Millis, and it's crazy to think that in just 6 days from right now, I will be a high school graduate. Now, I don't know how many of you know this about me, but I am always busy. This year, I served as senior class vice president, student council vice president, remained extremely active in our philanthropy week, SMAC week, completed over 22 hours of community service for Beta Club and National Honor Society while being enrolled in a concurrent class and 3 AP courses, so I always have something I need to do. And even in the last few weeks of school, that is still the case. I sat down to write this speech along with a scholarship essay, an English essay, and my graduation tribute to teachers. Then I realized something. It would take a lot less time for me to combine 2 of those. So I started thinking about the similarities between you, the congregation, and the teachers that I have at school. It didn't take long for me to realize that comparison was really easy when I thought about all the things I've learned from you guys. I learned how to act like a follower of Christ. I learned to wait until the end of the last verse of a hymn. I learned to wait till the last verse of a hymn at the end of the service to walk up as an acolyte and extinguish the candle. I learned all the best places to hide when playing sardines at the Revelation retreats. I learned that if his son drops his new glasses into Grand Lake, Alton will jump in, even when it's 50 degrees outside. And I learned that staying up all night in the FLC watching Disney movies with the girls of the youth group is still acceptable as a teenager. I've learned a lot. But this comparison got harder as I realized how much more like a family this church is to me. You guys have supported my successes, congratulating me on my graduation, buying flowers to support my cheerleading days, giving me compliments after an average violin performance or solo in choir. You have also laughed with me through the funny times, watching me direct the choir from the balcony when I was little, hearing me say the baptismal setup was for babytizing people at children's conversation, and forgiving me when I occasionally overwork myself the night before church and fall asleep during the sermon. Sorry, Mike and Kyle. I'll work on it. But on a more serious note, you guys have also been with me through some of the toughest points of my life. About a month ago, my grandfather passed away, and being the closest family member I have ever lost, it was very difficult to deal with. However, a few members of our congregation even attended his memorial in Bartlesville to support my dad and the rest of us, so thank you guys for that. Also, for those of you that may have forgotten or may not know, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015, which was my 9th grade year. That year was also difficult because my coursework became more intense, but my mom couldn't help much, and my dad spent lots of time helping my mom, which eventually led to my first all-nighter because they couldn't stop me from procrastinating. So that was fun. That year was also a year where it seemed like I was in a giant game of musical chairs, and my friends were the chairs that disappeared every day. Anyway, by the end of the year, I had new friends. However, throughout this time, the church was a constant source of happiness and peace. Some members alternated bringing us delicious food, and some always offered me a hug when I seemed to need one. The youth group was also extremely helpful because it was such a healthy distraction for me, so thank you for that. And with that, I would like to thank a few people, even if they aren't here in the service today. Thank you to Stan Warfield for teaching me that every time I hear a siren, I should pray for the person the siren is for. Thank you to Vicki and Monty Carnes for, even in the midst of all their struggles, making an effort to support me in my fundraising endeavors. Thank you, Alton and Janelda, for all the fun times and wisdom you guys have shared with me. I will truly miss you guys, but we'll go get lunch or something. It'll be okay. Thank you, Ed, for being such an awesome choir director and giving me the occasional solo and allowing me to, somewhat timidly, showcase my voice. Thank you to Mike and Kyle, who led my confirmation class and taught me to do all the good I can, in all the ways I can, at all the times I can, in all the places I can, as long as ever I can. Did I miss anything? No? Okay. Okay, I'm good. Thank you to Deanne Fort for being my confirmation mentor and listening to 6th grade me ramble on and on and on. Thank you to Cheryl and Kim Hale and Maddie for always greeting me with a smile and asking how I was that day. Thank you to all the people who have ever participated in youth or choir with me for making my experience in each group extremely memorable. Thank you to the Warrens, the Schrefflers, the Edwards, the Shellhammers, and too many others to name for everything you have done for me and my family. Lastly, I would like to thank my family. I have no words to describe how much you mean to me and how much you have impacted the person I am today. Thank you for introducing me to this amazing church and leading me in my walk with God. I'm so glad that I will remain close to this church when I move down the road to OSU next year. Though I may adjust my schedule to include a service that's slightly later than my normal 8:30 service. I will remain an active member of this church family and will continue with you in my walk of faith. Thank you for leading me with Jesus Christ to where I am now, because I love my relationship with Christ, and you guys have helped me know what it feels like to be loved by him. And with that, I'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you for taking the time to hear this message of God's grace, hope, and love. My name is Pastor Kyle, and I want to invite you to connect with Stillwater First UMC further by checking out more of our sermons on SoundCloud or iTunes, or by visiting our church website at fumcstw.org. While on our website, you can read about the many ways God is working through First Church and how you can be part of its ministries. Make a financial contribution so that we can continue to serve, or click on the Contact tab to let us know where you're listening from. Ask questions and share the joys and concerns of your heart so that we can be in prayer with you. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you once again, and God bless.